Hi, Math 7 Enrichment. We're going to do a little bit more with finding percents on the double number line today, just like we did on Tuesday. So just work along with me on a piece of paper. You can put the title at the top here. You can kind of just abbreviate it to percents on the double number line. I guess that's not much shorter. Maybe this is, the second one of those. Okay, anyway, let's keep going. Sorry. Okay, here's your first problem. Let's get 25% of 70. So we'll make our double number line. On the bottom we have 0% and 100%. Go ahead and mark those. And then what's our whole amount? What's our 100% amount? It's 70. So if we have 70, then we've got the whole amount 100%. So what do you remember the two key percents that we want to find? Okay, first one is 10%. Again, these are easy. They involve mental math. So if you have the number 70, the decimal is actually at the end of it to the right. And if you want to divide it by 10 to get all the way from, if you were going to go from 100 to 10, you divide by 10. So to get from 70 to the 10% value, we're also going to divide by 10. We just need to move our decimal one place over to the left. So 70 divided by 10 makes 7. We probably could have done that in our heads anyway. And then one more time, we're going to get to the 1% amount. Squeeze that in there. So now if we have 7 in the 10% amount, the decimal would come after it. If we divide that by 10, we do the same thing. We move that decimal place one to the left. So we get 0.7 for our 1% amount. If we want to find 25%, then we need to think about what we'd multiply 1 by to get to 25. Well, 1 times 25 is what we need to get to 25%, right? 1 times 25, 25. We're going to do that same amount here. So 0.7 times 25, take your calculator out. You should have that with you. And go ahead and put in 0.7 times 25. And that comes out to 17.5. So our answer is 17.5 is 25% of 70. Okay, let's try the next one. It's important that you kind of like pause this in between and see how much of it you can do on your own, and then you can use the rest of it as a check. All right, let's do 83% of 200. So again, we're going to make our double number line. There's 0%, there's 100%, and the 100% amount is 200. Okay, that's the whole amount. And we want to find part of that. We want to find 83%. That's what we're wondering. What's 83%? We don't know. So what are the two key percents we want to find? That's right, 10%, which would be right way down this end. Which if you take 200 and you move that decimal place 1 to the left, you end up with 20. 200 divided by 10 is 20. Now let's get our 1%. So now take 20 and divide it by 10. I'll move that decimal over one place. 20 divided by 10, we know that anyway, is 2. Okay, finally, I think I'll change colors for this. Finally, we want to go figure out 1% times what gets us to 83%. Well, obviously that's times 83. That's why this is so nice and easy. Well, 2 times what is going to get us to this amount as a number? Well, it has to be times the same thing, so times 83. So take your calculator, 2 times 83. And what does it come out to? Yep, 166. So 166 is 83% of 200. That is your answer. Okay. All right, let's go back to blue. Number 3. Let's do 35% of, let's say 25. So let's set up our double number line. We've got 0% on one end. We have 100% on the other end. What's our whole amount? 25 is our whole amount. So when we have all 25, we're at 100%. And we want to be finding 35%. So that'll be about here. We want to find 35%. That's what we're unsure of. But let's go ahead and work on those 2 key percents that help us find the rest. Let's do 10%, which if we have 25, our decimal's at the end, dividing 25 by 10 is just the same as moving the decimal 1 to the left. So you get, that's right, 2.5. And then the 1% amount, you're going to take 2.5 divided by 10. That means you're going to move that decimal 1 to the left. That's going to give you 0.25. Let me change colors. And if we're going to go from 1% to 35%, what do we multiply by? 35. Now do the same thing to find that other missing number. So 0.25 times 35. Take your calculator. 0.25 times 35 comes out to, that's right, 8.75. So 8.75 is 35% of 25. Right. Wash machine. Okay, next one. Back to blue. All right, let's do 65% of 120. So make your double number line. 0% on one end, 100% on the other for the whole amount. And the whole amount is 120. So we want to find 65%. That's going to be past the middle, right? Our 2 key percents are, that's right, 10%. So to find 10%, we're taking it 120 and we're dividing it by 10, which is the same as just moving it over one place or just knocking that 0 off the end. So that's going to give you 12. Let's divide it by 10 again to find the 1%. So now if we have 12, take 12 divided by 10, you're just going to move that decimal over one place, and you're going to have 1.2 for the 1% amount. Change colors. Okay, so if we're going to go from 1% to 65%, what do we need to multiply by? Multiply by 65. We're going to do the same thing here. 1.2 times 65. Go ahead and work that out on your calculator. 1.2 times 65 equals, comes out to 78. So 78 is 65% of 120. Okay. Last one. Okay, let's change color. I like the blue for this. Okay, so let's find, I don't know, 90% of 12. So let's set up 0%, 100%. Our whole amount is 12. Let's go find, we're looking for 90%, so it's going to be very close to 12. We know the number should be pretty close to 12, because that's almost the whole amount. 90% is almost 100%. And let's get our key percents. We want to get 10%. So if we have 12, and we divide it by 10, we're moving that decimal over one place. That gives us 1.2. And then to get our 1% amount, we take 1.2 and we divide it by 10, so that again, moving that decimal place over, we get 0.12. Okay, so let me change colors. So to go from 1% to 90%, you're multiplying times 90. So that means you're going to take 0.12% times 90, the same amount. And now let's go ahead and multiply that on the calculator. So 0.12 times 90 equals, and that's going to give us 10.8. So it's almost 11. You can see that's getting pretty close to 12. So 10.8 is 90% of 12. Okay, that's it for today. Make sure you take a picture of your work and submit it on Google Classroom. Have a nice weekend. Bye, everybody.